My name is Clara. I was 22 when everything changed. My father's business failed, and we lost our home. One night, he said, "Clara, we have no money left." My mother cried. My younger brother asked if we would sleep on the street. Suddenly, a rich man named Adrian came to our door. He was tall, calm, and looked powerful. He spoke to my father in private. After an hour, my father called me and said, "Clara, you must marry this man." I was shocked. I had never seen Adrian before. But my father said it was the only way to save us. That night I sat alone and cried. A letter slipped under my door. "Say yes and your family will live." The next morning my father begged me to agree. My mother held my hand and whispered, "Clara, do it for us." Adrian waited outside in a black car. I walked slowly, my heart racing. He opened the door and said, "Trust me, you will be safe." I sat inside and we drove to a mansion. Inside, I saw golden walls, crystal lamps, and guards at every door. But something felt strange. There were no family pictures, only silence. That night, a maid gave me a small box. Inside, there was a silver key and a note. "Do not open the red door." I stared at the key all night, wondering what secret Adrian was hiding. Our wedding was private. Only 2 witnesses signed papers. No music, no guests, no flowers. Adrian looked serious and said, "From today, you are my wife, but you must never ask questions." His words cut deep, but I nodded. After the ceremony, he gave me a ring. At dinner, I saw him checking his phone again and again, looking nervous. Suddenly, he stood up and left the room. I followed quietly and saw him enter the room with the red door. My heart stopped. The same door from the note. I wanted to follow him inside, but footsteps came behind me. It was the maid. She whispered, "Do not try, or you will regret it." The first week felt like a dream and a prison together. Adrian treated me kindly but kept distance. At night, I heard him locking the red door. One morning, I explored the garden. I saw a woman's scarf stuck in the rose bushes. It was red and smelled of perfume. When I asked Adrian, he froze and said, "That is nothing. Forget it." But later, the maid whispered, "It belonged to someone before you." My heart shook. Who was she talking about? At night, I heard crying sounds from behind the red door. I pressed my ear, but the sound stopped suddenly. One evening, Adrian invited me to dinner. He smiled more than before and asked about my childhood. For a moment, I felt hope, but suddenly a glass broke near us. A shadow moved across the hallway. Adrian ran and shouted, "Who is there?" Guards searched, but found nothing. Later, in my room, I found another note hidden under my pillow. "You are not the first." My hands shook. I wanted to ask Adrian, but I feared he would be angry. I hid the note in my dress and tried to sleep, but the red door kept calling me. Days turned into weeks. Adrian grew colder. He left the house every night and came back near dawn. I followed him once, but only saw his car disappearing into the fog. At home, I kept hearing strange sounds. One day, I found a golden locket under the sofa. Inside, there was a photo of Adrian with another woman. She had sad eyes, and behind her was the same red door. When Adrian saw the locket in my hand, his face turned pale. He snatched it away and shouted, "Do not touch what is not yours." That night, he locked me in my room for the first time. I begged the maid to tell me the truth. She hesitated, then whispered, "Adrian's first wife lived here. She vanished 1 year ago. People say she died, but no one saw her body." My heart froze. Was I living with a man hiding a crime? That night, I planned to open the red door. I waited until Adrian left the house. I used the silver key and turned the lock. The door creaked open. Inside, the room was dark with only one candle burning. On the table, I saw photographs, letters, and clothes of a woman. Her face was the same woman from the locket. Suddenly, the candle blew out and I heard footsteps. Adrian stood at the door, his face hard. "Clara, you broke my trust," he said. I trembled, holding one photograph. "Who is she?" I cried. He grabbed the picture and whispered, "She was my wife, but she betrayed me." I wanted to ask more, but his eyes turned cold. He locked the red door again and warned, "Never enter here again." That night, I could not sleep. I dreamed of the woman's sad eyes. The next day, I tried calling my father, but the phone lines were cut. I felt trapped in the mansion, alone with secrets. One morning, a letter arrived without Adrian knowing. It was hidden in the basket of fresh bread. It said, "If you want to know the truth, meet me near the old fountain at midnight." I kept the note hidden. At midnight, I sneaked out. A man stood near the fountain. He was old and weak. He whispered. I was Adrian's driver. His first wife tried to escape. She never returned. Before I could ask more, he handed me a small box. Inside, there was another key. He said, "This will show you the truth." Suddenly, we heard footsteps. Guards appeared, and the man ran into the dark. I rushed back to my room and hid the new key. The next day, Adrian was unusually sweet. He gave me gifts, flowers, and said, "I want us to start fresh." But his smile did not reach his eyes. At night, I waited until he slept, then used the new key. It opened a hidden drawer inside the red room. Inside, I found diaries. They were written by his first wife. She wrote about fear, about being locked, about wanting freedom. Her last page ended with, "If you read this, help me." Tears filled my eyes. Suddenly, Adrian's hand touched my shoulder. I gasped. He stood behind me, silent. "Now you know," he said. His voice was heavy. I whispered, "What happened to her?" He closed his eyes. "She wanted to run. I could not let her." I stepped back, horrified. "Did you hurt her?" I asked. He opened the window and looked at the moon. "She is gone, Clara. That is all you need to know." I felt my chest tighten. That night, I packed a small bag. I hid the diaries inside. I decided to run before I became his next secret. But the guards were everywhere. The final night came. I sneaked to the garden, holding my bag. Suddenly, Adrian appeared behind me. "You cannot leave, Clara," he said. I faced him, shaking. "I will not be your prisoner." He stared at me for a long time, then sighed. "Maybe you are stronger than her." He gave me the key to the gate and whispered, "Go, but never return." My legs ran until the mansion was far away. I looked back once. Adrian stood in the shadows, watching. I escaped, but his secret will live inside me forever. I married a stranger, and I became his secret.